If you've ever wanted to make money every day from the Forex market, but you didn't know where to start, I've got the ideal solution for you. Go visit our sponsors at superleadsforex.com and see for yourself how you could start making a 20% to 25% return on your money every month and on 100% hands-free autopilot with your very own Forex trading robot. There's no previous trading experience needed and literally anyone can do it. Better still, you can test drive this cash cranking system for yourself on your own PC or laptop, free of charge for 30 days. You have absolutely nothing to lose. You can get all the exciting info right now at superleadsforex.com, at superleadsforex.com.
Well then, we have an advert. Would you look at that? That's fucking fancy, isn't it? Good evening, guys. Welcome to the player ratings. I'm joined by the Honourable Reverend Martin Riley of Stats. Good evening, Martin. How do?
Good evening. I'm doing good. Yeah, let's go talk about this match and get it out of the way.
Nah, I'm all right.
And that's Phil has gone off, but he's back. He's back.
Yeah, no, I'm back. Fuck me. Right, yeah. I'll be honest. We're gonna be really fucking quick tonight. We're not gonna be here for an hour. We're not gonna talk transfers too much unless we absolutely have to. We will talk obviously about West Ham yesterday, and we'll go through the players. Martin, I think you're going to be perhaps slightly more level-headed than I am about yesterday. I'm still quite annoyed, to be honest. I got the result I wanted, but I really don't feel like I got the performance. I'm a little bit pissed off, and I've tried to reflect in my player ratings. I haven't given anyone lower than a 5, and I haven't given anyone higher than a 6.5, but I do think that maybe I've tried too hard to be nice. So, yeah, go on. Tell me, what did you think of the game in general?
There were some good things on show. Mainly the performances of some of the younger players. I thought they made a good game of it for most of it. Greenwood didn't do his best, and they didn't really get into grips with the game very well. But I saw Leo Hjelde did very, very well. He did very well at marking Antonio at times. And Lewis Bay also did quite well. So both those two can be proud of their debuts. There were other performances which were less good. On the whole, I'm fine with the result. It's not something which, like was said on the big match preview, that we was ever expecting to win, and especially considering West Ham put out a pretty strong side. They played pretty much their first team, which neither of us were expecting.
No.
They've got another game in 2 days' time, so let's hope that they get another injury, and then it would serve them right. But
yeah, I mean, let's be honest. We weren't sat here thinking, oh, it's going to be a weekend lineup for no reason. They did hype it up all week as, oh, we've got injuries too. We've got people that need resting. We've got this other game. And we were under the impression that it was going to be taken lightly. They definitely didn't take it lightly at all. They put out a very strong side. There was no Mark Noble. There was Declan Rice. Generally speaking, apart from Vlasic coming in, and obviously Areola in goal, who is, played for Real Madrid, PSG, he's hardly... no. Larson, for example. It's not as though they put a weakened lineup out. They did put a strong team out. We did put some kids out. We are ridiculously limited now in our numbers. Obviously, there's news coming out about further injuries this evening. Apparently, Greenwood is also now unavailable. Bamford
Greenwood now
back for the weekend. There's a strong chance no striker is available for the weekend now. There is whispers that Bamford starts on the bench, but other than that, basically, it's not looking great. We'll talk about the weekend at the weekend. I don't think there's any point talking about that now. So we'll just get stuck straight into it. We'll go, obviously, first of all, Illan Meslier. I wasn't crazily impressed with him yesterday. And obviously, considering 6 normally means average. I'm definitely not giving Meslier a 6 because I don't think that was an average performance from Illan Meslier yesterday. Right? What did you make of him?
Well, he
hoodie, by the way, if people have just noticed, there we go, merch. Go on, Martin. Meslier.
Yeah, Meslier. He had probably more bad than good in the game. The second goal, especially, he made a mistake in coming out to it when he shouldn't have done. I can see his reasoning for coming out because I think when the ball was played towards who was scored there, final goal, it was Antonio who played it. Was it to
Bowen.
Lanzini?
No, Bowen scored the second.
Bowen, yeah, that's right. So when the ball was played to Bowen, I think Meslier was expecting it to end up more central. So I think that's why he came out. But it ended up going really far to the left, which meant that it was an easy goal for Bowen to just put underneath him as he came out. It made it difficult for Meslier, but he still did come out too far. He shouldn't have come out as far as he did. I don't hold him responsible for the first goal. That was a big mess. He did his best to claim that goal shouldn't have stood. We all know it shouldn't have stood. That was offside. Bowen was definitely interfering with play. No, Phil. I'm not accepting. No.
Put it this way, Bielsa. I mean, Bielsa never complains about referees, but for me, if Marcelo Bielsa isn't willing to complain about it, is willing to take it on the chin and believes that we deserve to lose the game, the 2-0 was a fair reflection on the game. Sitting here and moaning about VAR is not the reason we lost that game. We would have lost it anyway.
I'm not saying that.
For me, I can see why they've given the goal. I honestly can. And I'm not doing the whole Leon Osman on Match of the Day bollocks of, perhaps he's running across that quickly that he's not interfering with play. I think if it is anything to do with it, I think he would be interfering with play. For me, Hjelde obviously makes a good last-ditch challenge. Perhaps that stops it from being offside. I don't know. One of the other things is obviously Meslier doesn't get two hands on the ball either. For me, when that went to VAR, I sat there the whole time and went, it's a goal. There's no point getting pissed off about it. It's going to be given as a goal. I don't expect it to be overturned because they're watching the replays that many fucking times that they can't find an excuse to prove the referee wrong, basically. I'm not saying it's 100% the right decision, but once the referee on the field had decided there was nothing wrong with it and he bottled it and left it to VAR to decide, they were never going to do anything different. And I think unless you are sort of leaning in against the being inactive thing, I struggle to find a genuine justification to go, all right, let's disallow it. And obviously, I'm not defending VAR because I would have probably liked to have seen that overturned. And I know plenty of analysts that aren't Leeds United fans that would have overturned it. But me as an analyst, I probably would have bottled that decision too and not overturned it.
Well, it isn't ever VAR who overturn it anyway. If they think that the referee's made a mistake, they'll ask him to come over to look at it.
Oh, no, they can overturn.
I thought it was always down to the referee. The referee always makes the final thing.
The referee doesn't have to come and have a look. They can just say to him in his ear, "You've made a mistake. Turn it over." They don't forget. It was only really this season they started actually encouraging the referees to come and have a look at it because last season they were just telling them what to do, and that got them a lot of stick.
Yeah, well, so last season, I think it has changed this season, though. I think he only ever gets looked at when they say we think you've made a mistake. So it's not them justifying it because he called the goal offside anyway. So it isn't them who's deciding; it's the referee's initial decision that they say, yeah, there's no obvious mistake there. You continue. Then if they think he's made a mistake, that's when they go to have a look at it. So that's my interpret. But anyway, this
nobody gives a fuck about this. No. What did you give Meslier?
He got a 6 from me, average. I thought he did make a couple of good saves, but like I said, he could have done better with the second goal.
Yeah, for me, Meslier in general yesterday wasn't his usual self. There was a few times where I wasn't really best pleased with his reaction, flapping at things. I can only really think of one save with his feet that he made. Generally speaking, a below par performance from me. So I've got 5. We'll move on to the back 4. Like I said, I want to fly through them pretty quick. Guys, if you want to get your comments in, obviously with your own Ratings for the players, obviously we'll flash them up. As Scott's just said there, he could have done better for both goals. I know people are going to say the first one's not his fault, but he could do better. I agree with Scott there. I do think there's more he could do without us sitting here and having to argue whether it's VAR's fault. So with the back four then, starting at left back, Junior Firpo. What did you think of Firpo yesterday?
He wasn't as good as what he was against Burnley. He did try to make some good runs, but I think we were trying something a bit different with the way we were building up yesterday. I saw us focusing a lot more down the right-hand side, and he was making runs forward. Those runs weren't always picked out accurately, so that's not his fault that those runs weren't being picked out. He did have some problems with some people running at him, and he wasn't always in the right position. So I think it was a pretty average game for Firpo. It wasn't a bad performance. He made no mistakes from what I can remember. Nothing amazingly great. So I'm going to give him a 6 as well.
Yeah. No, I've gone the same. I actually think of the back four, one of the best. I don't think there was really too much wrong with his performance, but like you said, it's not like he's hit the heights of his actual good game against Burnley. Average is exactly the word I'd use to describe it. It was, and for me, average is a 6. We'll move on to. Should we go? We'll do. Do you want to go on to Ħjelda first and then Llorente?
Yeah.
Let's get the good one out of the way.
Yeah, Leo Ħjelda, 18 years old and putting in a very strong performance. It wasn't perfect. No one's debut performance is ever going to be perfect. But he did do a very good job. He was up against one of the hardest players to mark in the league, in Antonio. He's strong, he's fast. He did turn him a couple of times, and he did his best to try to recover. But we'll move on to someone who dealt with him worse in the next person. Ħjelda did a lot better than what his central defensive, much more senior partner did in that game, in my opinion, which he can hold his head high because Llorente is a Spanish international and he should have done better, but we'll move on to him shortly. Ħjelda, for me, got a 7 for the performance that he did. Probably going to be, if I had to pick a Leeds man of the match, it probably would be Ħjelda. Yeah,
okay, fair enough. I haven't gone man of the match for Ħjelda, to be honest. I did see a couple of mistakes, and I'm not just going to gloss over them because it's his debut. I know people would obviously. I like this guy. I don't want to like him, but I like him. So yeah, it really puts me off. I might have to full screen to ignore him. Ħjelda, I think obviously of the two centre backs, you wouldn't know one was a Spanish international and the other one was what is he, 18, 19, quite young, but very tall, very physical, good player. I think Antonio's an extremely hard person to mark and got the better of him a couple of times. I do think for the first goal, I know Oscar defends him and says last-ditch tackle, does really well. He's unlucky that goes in the back of the net. I do think he could have dealt with, was it Vlasic or...
Vlasic. It was Vlasic who turned him,
I think he could have dealt with him better before he has to make that last-ditch tackle. I always go back to what Virgil van Dijk says about if you have to make the tackle, you've done something wrong in the first place.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I think in the process of having to make the tackle, he gets rolled. So he could do slightly better there. But even still, I have given him a 6. I think it was absolutely fine. And then obviously next to him, Llorente, I've gone 5 because I don't want to give anyone lower than 5. But generally speaking, I am lost as to where Diego Llorente has disappeared to from the back end of last season. I don't recognise the guy half the time at the moment. And Gail's going to tell me in the comments in a minute, I know you don't like Llorente. Well, it's not that I don't like him. I'm just not a big fan of the performances right now. Everything he does seems to be, well, let's do the most fucking manic thing I can do at this given moment in time. Flies into challenges that don't need making. Randomly decided to ask Antonio to give him a piggyback over and over and over again yesterday instead of actually just marking him. The passing is mental. Sometimes that looks good, but when it doesn't look good, it looks fucking mental. Generally speaking, I'm just at a bit of a loss as to what's going on with him right now. So I have gone 5. It isn't lower, but Martin, can you go any higher? Were you happy with him yesterday?
No, definitely not. we know what Llorente is good at, and that is meant to be his passing and making those incisive passes out from the back, which is something that 𝐾𝐎𝐓𝐇 did better than he did. I don't have the stats to hand. It's a bit harder for the FA Cup. The stats aren't as incisive as what they would be for the league. But yeah, he just didn't do anything great or even good. He was well too tight, like David said, got too tight to Antonio a lot of the time. He should know that Antonio is going to be able to beat him, not only for pace, but for strength as well.
Yeah.
So because of that fact, he should leave a bit of space between him and Antonio, not quite get as tight when you should know yourself. You know when you're going to be outpaced by someone on a pitch. You just know it. That happens to me a lot. I'm slow as shit. But yeah, I'm frustrated with Llorente's performances recently. I do like him, and he's a good character on the pitch. But the past few performances from him have not been satisfactory. And for me, the net game at the weekend, I'd drop him. I'd drop him for, and I would prefer to play Robin Koch there alongside Leo Hilda. I would prefer to see that, because at the moment
I can almost guarantee that's not going to happen.
No, I'm not saying that Bielsa will do that for an instance. The only time that will happen, I think Llorente is one of his favourite defenders that he will play, because
and let's be honest, he's not going to throw 𝐾𝐎𝐓𝐇 straight into a league game anytime soon. Anyway,
no, I don't think so.
As Danny's just pointed out, he is getting dropped.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I don't want to be relieved, because it makes me feel bad.
It won't be held that it starts.
Probably Ayling and Koch. Yeah, it'll be.
Yeah, and then who goes right back? Dallas at right back, left back. We'll do all this on anyway. We'll get there, but yeah, there's no Diego Llorente at the weekend, basically.
Yeah.
Him and every other player we've ever had is missing. So what did you give number wise for Llorente?
Oh, I didn't even say it. He, like you, I don't like going lower than a 5.
Yeah, 5. Obviously, to complete the back four, Luke Ayling. For me, I went somewhere in between. Wasn't too unhappy with him. Wasn't too happy with him. So I put 5.5. I don't think he was. And for me, the best of the back four was 𝐾𝐎𝐓𝐇, and then maybe a little bit 𝐵𝐵𝐿, but not Ayling. But at the same time, Ayling wasn't anywhere near as bad as Llorente, so I had to just sort of land somewhere in the middle. What did you go with?
I liked Ayling's performance. I thought he did quite well. He tried to press the ball a lot on the right hand side, and he was trying to link up play a lot. Didn't always work for him, but he didn't do anything wrong defensively, from what I can remember, and he had a reasonable game. Nothing to write home about. But I know he can do better than that, and he'll know that. But he did his usual vocal performance and I think that helped out with the young lads around him. So when Bate was near him, I saw him being quite vocal with Bate. Yeah. So he's got a 6 from me.
Fair enough. This is another one. I've just that's true. So obviously 𝐵𝐵𝐿 won't play at the weekend either. It was
I think it was a concussion sub, but the actual rules isn't a 10-day. It's 6 days that you have to.
I thought it was 2 weeks. I thought it was 14 days. We should probably research this in time for Friday.
Yes, someone linked me the ruling on it, and it is 6 days. I will relook it up before the weekend just to be sure of that. But we'll just see. If he is out, he's out. We'll have to deal with it. Maybe 𝐾𝐿𝐿𝐇 plays. He can play left back as well.
Either way, what we do know is predicting the lineup next week is going to be really fucking fun. So on to the midfield, or depends what you call the formation. The formation, as far as I'm concerned, and I think your concern was 4-1-4-1, right? Right, not the 4-2-3-1 that keeps getting put out on the Twitter page. I don't know why they do
always that. Wrong. It's always wrong. And I know for a fact that they can do that graphic in a different formation, 4-2-3-1, because when they do the women's Twitter, the Leeds ladies ones, they play in the 4-4-2. And they can put that on there. So if they can put a 4-4-2, why can't they put one?
You think it's just Digital Wilson just trying to fuck with people and trying to
could be. It could be.
Anyway, so we go on to Robin Koch. I think if Oscar was here, 5 would have been generous because Oscar definitely does not like to see Robin Koch in that hole. I also don't like seeing Robin Koch in that position. Look, it's not his fault he was put in that position. I think since he's come back, his performances at centre-back for me have been good. But that position, just a no-go. I haven't gone at a 5. I've gone 5.5 because I thought, again, stronger performance than Llorente, but not by a great deal. What did you give him, Robin Koch? Someone's given him a 7 in the comments.
I honestly thought that Koch had a reasonably good game. He did well in defence. No one got past him from what I can remember. I did notice that the players weren't passing him the ball that very often. So I don't think he had too much passing work to do. There seemed to be kind of ignoring him there. And I don't know what the reason for that was. But I thought he had a good performance in the whole. I was happy with it. 6 for me.
See, our reverend friend Scott has said he's been a bit flaccid upon his return. So, yeah, we'll have to move on from that one quite quickly.
I'm sure Scotty could improve that for him to make him not flaccid.
Yes, of course. Another yes, Gail, with the explanation. That is true. So we'll move on to the 4 in front. So starting, we started on the left randomly this time with the defenders. So I'll stay with the left. Jack Harrison, Martin. We often have split opinions on Jack Harrison anyway. So where are you going to go?
Well, I don't think he had an awful performance. He didn't have a good performance. Just average. He was indecisive in the final third at times, but he also did put in one good ball from what I can remember. Just average. I'm going to go with your 5.5.
Right. Okay. All right then. That's fine. I feel better. We're not going to have to fight on this one. Fucking brilliant. So yeah, I've gone 5. There is that one ball that you're talking about, which is the one where Dan James somehow doesn't finish.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, he has a similar one himself where Victor Orta's back. Lovely. Hi, you owe me a pint. Don't forget. Yes. So yeah, I don't think he's back to his best at all, Jack Harrison. I really don't. I think he needs games to get back to his best, and I think he's going to get them because
he has to
injuries. But generally speaking, that in a nutshell is right. The decision making for me just it hasn't looked right for the vast majority of the season. The first touch doesn't even look like. Jesus.
Even Orta's getting into the smelling.
I know these comments again. I really do struggle to concentrate when Victor's in there. But yeah, he had a similar one to Dan James where he just has to tap it in from like a couple of yards out, and it's not even the first time this season. Just thighs it randomly in the middle of nowhere.
I think the chance. I remember the chance you're talking about, and
across the box as though he should actually shoot.
But I think
Dan James it as well, and then it comes off Harrison.
Yeah, I think that I wouldn't really blame Harrison for that because he thought that James was going to be getting that, and then it just hit his leg.
They both get marked down for.
No, that James was the one who could have actually hit it. Harrison didn't think it was even going to come to him, but he could have done better, and maybe a striker in his
one. You say the same thing. You'll say with Dan James's, he could anticipate that Craig Dawson's going to miss it, and therefore he should finish. With James's right.
Yeah, with James's one, he could have done better. I agree.
But the movement to get in that position is far better than Harrison just standing around letting the ball come off his thigh.
It was, but the movement was also mistimed. If it was because he just ran full pelt and that he was ahead of the ball, so but it is what it is. We'll both see those chances a bit differently, and that's fine. But Harrison, he didn't have that great of a performance.
Yeah. Moving across, we'll go on Bate first because I know I think we both want to say the same thing on Bate. To be honest, Not really sure why he was taken off at half time. Don't get it at all. Thought he was doing really well.
Yeah, I thought he had a good half.
There was one snapshot that he snatched at and missed.
Yeah,
but other than that,
but any one of us would have gone at that. It was falling perfectly, and he did scuff that a bit, but that's not his game. I don't expect Bate to be the one scoring those chances. But what I do expect from Bate is moving the ball around nicely, to make the right decisions with the ball, to shrug off people much bigger than him through how quickly he can turn. And that is the things that we saw from Bate. He didn't make any mistakes on the ball. I think he had one missed pass, and that's all. He did, to say that he was up against two very tough, strong, senior players in Declan Rice and Thomas Tuchel. He didn't look. When I first saw him in the lineup, why did I stand him next to Robin Koch? He looks so tiny and cute, but his performance was good. I was happy with what I saw from him, and like you, I didn't want him to get taken off at half time, but I think that was a planned substitution, which happens no matter what.
Yeah, and yes, I was waiting, and it's always you that delivers. I thought he was fine. Like, I have given him a 6, which I know seems like it says average, but I would love to smell our first signing, Victor. I would. As long as it's not Ross Barkley, I don't imagine he smells nice. If it's someone good, absolutely fine. Click of the two centre mids, and again, this is one that I'm always slightly harsher on. Mateusz Ķič, you're always slightly nicer to him. I've given him a 5, Mateusz Ķič, and bearing in mind I've given Bate a 6, I imagine you might not agree with me, but I'll be intrigued to see what you got to say about Mateusz Ķič yesterday.
Well, I just realised I didn't actually give my rating for Bate. I waxed lyrical about him, but I didn't actually give my rating. He got a 6.5 from me. He was another one who stood out for me. But on to Ķič, he did some good things and some bad. He made some good runs past, like we know that he does, through the half marker between their left back and left centre back. He's making a few runs like that, and those were good. He did have some stray passes yesterday. I will admit to that. Not a great performance, not a bad performance. It just gets a 5.5 from me.
Oh, Scott's gone the other way. Scott's giving him a 6. I've gone 5. I'm not going to go into why. I think you've already kind of said it and just given a higher rating. I'll move straight on to Dan James, and the same with Harrison. Pretty much the same reason. I've gone. I like that. That's good. Danny's given Glick. We should all just call him that now. That's clearly his name. In fact, they're probably the most accurate ones I could give. Referee in general was shite. Most decisions were, to be honest, they're all fucking shite. We haven't missed Forshaw. He came off the bench. Don't worry. We will get to him. And the commentator even worse. Dan James, again, for me, the run's good, but I felt like, obviously, when Greenwood goes off and he goes up front, I think it's not just me. I think a lot of people are bored of seeing Dan James put up front now. I know that's because we have no fucking strikers. Everybody's injured, whatever. But it really is boring seeing it. It turns us into such a one-dimensional team where all we have is to go over the top. And I'm not here to watch Sean Dyche's football. I'm here to watch Bielsa's. So I don't like it. Generally speaking, other than running, which is something I genuinely do agree. My missus thinks he's brilliant because he runs and runs and runs, and he's quick at it, and he's good at running. But like Scott will say about other people, decision making sometimes baffles me. Not in the decision making of which runs to make. Great at choosing the right runs to make, like we saw with that chance, but then obviously didn't finish it. And yeah, like Alison's just said, or Alison and Marty, hello. just very little end product. I know he has scored with his head last weekend, but 2 goals so far for 25 million quid. I want to see more. It's not me saying I don't like him. Very happy, but can we see a bit more, please? Let's get a lot more, actually. Martin, yeah, Dan James. Without low, that was where I could have gone lower.
It was a typical performance from Dan James up front. Made a lot of runs. They didn't always come off. He messed up the one big chance that he had. It wasn't a great performance from Dan. He had a good game against Burnley, albeit that was off the bench, which meant that obviously his pace was always going to be that little bit more effective. But I understand we have no other options to play up front, and I'm happier when I see him on the wing, which is something I would prefer to see. I would prefer to see Raphinha start up front, and I would prefer to see Dan James on the left and Harrison on the right. Then we've got players who can both cut inside from both flanks. They can feed in the passes to Raphinha, which he would prefer to be fed forward on the floor rather than in the air. And I think that could be a better strategy while we are strikerless until a striker is back, whether that is Roberts, Gelhardt or Bamford, when any of them are back. For now, try someone else, but Dan James up front. It's not working, and I know we're going to see it at the weekend. I know we are. No, we don't. We do not recall Edmondson, Scotty. No. He's not even scoring in the League One where he currently is. So no, James, he just gets a 5 from me. I wasn't impressed with his performance.
Yeah. And then obviously the last of the starting 11, Sam Greenwood. I actually saw someone give 3 further up in the comments. We're not going that low, but I don't think it was a good performance from Sam Greenwood. I don't really think he got going and obviously taken off prematurely. If anything, if it's not going well for him, I'd rather see him left out there and try and put it right. But I've given him a 5. What did you think?
He tried to do some good things. He was trying to do some good back heels. One thing I saw, which nearly came off, but he didn't. He did have a couple of shots, but unfortunately they were both pretty poor. He did struggle to get to grips with the game. Obviously, he's up against a lot more senior players in Craig Dawson and Diop, was it? They had in defence. Yeah, he was up against 2 very senior, very experienced players who dealt with him quite easily. He's not blessed with pace like other players. He can't turn people in the way that Joffrey does. So it was a difficult game for him, but I would have preferred to see him continue up front than put Dan James up front, if I'm honest, because at least he is naturally a striker. But I think the thing with Greenwood is he hasn't actually been playing as a striker for the under-23s. He's mainly been playing behind a striker. He's been playing in the 10 role a lot there, which means that he may not quite get the movements in our system. I know we will have prepared him for it, but preparing them for it and actually playing as a striker in this system is different. And I don't think his pressing was that great. He didn't always look that much on the pace. He tried. I will give him that, but he gets a 5.
Yeah. Okay, and on to the subs. I can't honestly remember the order, so I'm just going to go in the order that I've got them written down. If that's the order, that's the order. So Dallas and Forshaw, did they both come on at half-time? Am I right? No, Raphinha.
No.
Did it?
Dallas and Raphinha came on at half-time.
Dallas and Raphinha. So we'll go with them 2 first. Dallas, for me, I actually thought I'd give him man of the match. I don't know if that's just me, but I was actually happy with Dallas when he came on. I thought at least he did something, and obviously got moved into about 12 different positions in the space of 45 minutes and tried his best in all of them. The thing for me with Stuart Dallas, and look, I know people will say from the starting point, but we'll get on to one of the other subs who, again, may split opinion. I really didn't like Cody Drame's performance when he came on, and haven't liked his performances in the senior squad for pretty much all of this season when he's made them. I don't think he's anywhere near, but when it came to the winning goal, I think it's Drame that gives the ball away, or at some point you see on your screen there's Forshaw, Dallas, and Dramé that are both sort of a similar distance to our goal, and Dramé is 10 years younger than the other two, and the other two are back. I know neither of them stopped the goal going in regardless, so it makes no fucking difference. But even 𝐾𝐿 manages to run past Cody Dramé to get back, and I'm just like, not a fan. So the fact that he was putting it in, as Chris would always say, covers every blade of grass, tries his hardest. It's very rare that you'll fault Stuart Dallas for those things. I know there was a patch at the start of the season where things weren't going his way, but generally speaking, I think he's been one of our best players for the last few months. And the other one, obviously, when we'll get onto it, is Forshaw. But I've given Dallas 6.5. What did you go for, Stewie D?
Yeah, he had a decent performance. Like you said, he played, I think, 3 different positions. He played at right back. He played at central midfield. Yeah, he played briefly. He played briefly at right back at one point. Yeah, wasn't for long, but he did play there. I think it's because we had to shuffle things around a bit.
Mate, he could go up front at the weekend.
Yeah, because I think I'm trying to think. He came on at half time for who was it? He came on for Lewis Bate, wasn't it? So he started off there.
Yeah,
and then
went to right back, went to left back.
Yeah, so he was everywhere. He was doing as usual. He covered a lot of blades of grass, and he did try to get things moving for us. Didn't always work, but that's the one thing you can guarantee with Dallas is that the effort will always be there to try to make things happen. And yeah, he gets a 6 from me, same as what I gave for 𝐴𝐈𝐓. He did do good while he was on the pitch.
Absolutely, we could definitely do 0.5s all the time. Oscar doesn't watch our shows though, so it doesn't matter. No. Raphinha, I'm going to caveat immediately what I'm about to say by the fact that I don't think Raphinha is an impact sub in any way, shape, or form. I think Raphinha starts every game. Shouldn't have played at all for me in the cup. I don't see why he got brought on. I don't see why Dallas, Forshaw, any of those 3 got brought on. Fuck me, look at the injury list. Why play any of them? I don't get it at all. But for me, Raphinha starts games. You'll notice in the league when he starts a game and say we're at 70 minutes and we're losing, Raphinha loses his shit and he decides, I'm doing this. I don't need you lot. This is me. I'm going to win this game. And he came off the bench yesterday and automatically just started like that. And as the game wore further and further on, it was just like, right, I'm going to go take this throw in. I'm going to give you it. You're going to give it straight back to me. And then I'm going to run at the defense. This is my game. None of you are involved. It's just me. So like when I see these kind of ratings come in, I can agree with them. Again, like I said, I've not given anyone lower than a 5. I didn't think he was as bad as Llorente either. So I've given him 5.5, but happy to accept lower. Gail's hit the nail on the head. We all love Raphinha, and he is by far and away our best player, especially while Calvin's not here. But that wasn't a game to risk him in, and bringing him on as a sub at half time just made no sense. Martin?
No, I agree with what you're saying. I think we were actually a little bit worse with Raphinha coming on, because Raphinha's got a habit of trying to rush things a bit too much.
Yeah.
When he came on, it was still plenty of time left, and it was the same old thing with Raphinha, trying the long speculative balls, which he doesn't always have to try.
Yeah.
I love him. He's been so exciting to watch this season. He's rescued us so many points, and I don't like saying bad things about him, but you can't play favourites when someone has a bad game. You have to say that they had a bad game, and he did. He didn't do what we would want him to do. I actually thought that Somerville made more of a positive impact on the game than what Raphinha did. But yeah, we know he'll get back to his best. He's having a bit of a downward spell, which is fine. All players have them, even the best in the world. He gets. I give him the same as you, 5.5.
Yeah,
that's on because I don't want to give him as low as Llorente, who was the one who I thought was worst again.
So, just in answer to the question that's on the screen, no, I don't think we rely too much on Raphinha. I think Raphinha relies too much on Raphinha, and that's the answer. Then we'll move on I'll go Forshaw next, just because I'm saving the 2 youngsters for the end. For sure. What did you make of him? I assume I've gone 6.5, same as Dallas, and pretty much the same reasons as Dallas. I'm so annoyed to have even seen him brought on and the gods tested in that way. I don't know what Bielsa's thinking in trying to risk Adam Forshaw in an FA Cup match that we were always going out of anyway. Just mental, but 6.5 for the way he played when he came on anyway. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. He gets a 6 from me, slightly lower than for you. Not for anything that he did wrong. So he was only on the pitch for about, did he come on about 60 minutes with it? Something like that. Yeah. He did do well when he was on the pitch. He did all the usual things that we'd expect Forshaw to do. He was making sensible decisions with the ball. He was breaking up play and generally the reliable Forshaw, what we expect him to be. So, yeah, I'm happy that he played well. Not happy that he played any minutes at all. Give Lewis Bate a full 90. Why not? Why not? Give him that experience of
end of the day, he's not going to start against West Ham at the weekend, is he? Like
he's not.
He's not. The older man, like, and even Greenwood. I know Greenwood. We're hearing now it has picked up an injury, but I don't know. Maybe the one that it applies the most to then is obviously Lewis Bate. But the 3 youngsters, even the 2 that came off the bench, if you're going to risk youngsters, just fucking risk them from the start. We're always going to lose the game. We're always going out. It made no difference to me, and I just don't get it. But on to, I think Dramé came on before Somerville, didn't he? So we'll do Dramé first.
Yeah. I think you've already said a fair bit about Dramé, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't want to go in too hard, but for me, there's been whispers today of him going out on loan to Cardiff. There's different reports contradicting each other. There's some that say the deal's already done. Then there's David Anderson, obviously from, is it the Mirror, who's saying that Bielsa refuses to let him go at all.
Phil Hay said that he's been weighed up by the club still. So.
Yes, very 50-50 in general. For me, I would let him go out on loan. I don't think he's anywhere near the first team for me at this moment in time. Not looking anywhere near as close to first team level as we were told this time last season. The one player that's obviously made that step up really easily and seamlessly is 𝐘𝐎𝐓. But Cody Dramé just doesn't look to be at the same level as the rest of the first team players. And like I said, with their second goal, I see 𝐿 who started the game. 𝐿 started the game in the 93rd minute, whatever time it was when that goal goes in, running past him, and he's just come on as a sub. So yeah, I'm really not happy with that. I've given him a 5 just because I haven't gone lower than 5 for anyone. But if I was going to go lower for anyone, it probably would have been Dramé.
For Dramé, he did try to make an impact on the game. It didn't always work, and he wasn't at the pace of the game at times. But I don't think he was one of the worst on the pitch. I'm just actually re-looking at that goal, and Dramé. I wouldn't have expected Dramé to get back there. He was actually.
No, it's not, I'm not saying I expect him to get back. I don't expect 𝐿 to run past him.
No, he didn't. He didn't. Not really. I've just rewatched it. They were both. Neither of them were going to get there first. They was both starting to decelerate when they could see that they weren't going to get there because it was about 20 yards away from Bowen when he was going to the box. I wouldn't put any blame on Dramé for that.
I'm not blaming him for the goal. I'm blaming him for what I'm saying is I don't see him as physically at the same level as the other players in that team. And when he's meant to be close to the first team, I don't think he is.
No, but I still wouldn't put any blame on him for not getting back in time. I don't think he's anything to do.
I'm not putting blame on him for not getting back in time. I don't think physically that should be happening in that last minute as to when he's come on and when 𝐾𝐿 started the game. Dramé should be back there for me with Dallas and with Forshaw. Quite simply, he's he's between the ages of 18 and 21. I don't know the exact age right now, but he's a young lad who's played less than half an hour. I smoked for a very long time and have recently quit. I get back there. Quite simply, you get.
I don't agree. I've just rewatched it right now and looking at it, I don't think that him or 𝐾𝐎𝐒 would have got there back in time. You can see both of them decelerate when they can see that no matter how fast they would possibly go, that they weren't going to get there. But it's neither here nor there. That goal was meaningless, really. On Dramé at this level, I do think he has been better in the game when he actually started. I don't think he does a good job when he comes off the bench. I think he struggles to adapt when he's brought in as a sub, which has hindered him at times. I do think a loan would be beneficial for him in the Championship, and I wouldn't mind seeing that. However, if he does go out on loan, we need another right back in, because we do not have anyone else who can play if anyone else gets injured. Ayling isn't long back from an injury. Shackleton is injured. Dallas is covered for about 10 different positions, so we can't always rely on him to be available either. So for me, if we do let him go out on loan, we have to have another option in mind for him to come on. I've heard talks of us being interested in, I think it's a player from Ayr United in Scotland, a young, apparently Stuart Dallas-esque player who can play in a few different positions, left back, right back, on the wing.
Is this the one that Villa are after as well?
Yeah, I believe so. I forget what his name is. I always forget what his name is.
I can't remember his first name. His second name.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
anyway.
it could be. Yeah, but so if we do loan Dramé out to Cardiff, definitely not Swansea, because Swansea can go F off based on the Dan James thing. But yeah, Dramé, he didn't have that great of a game. It's not going to get as low as Llorente either. 5.5 again.
And then we'll just quickly round off with Somerville. So obviously another one came off the bench. I thought he looked bright, but again, the rumours are that Blackburn aren't happy that Pervader's not there and they want a replacement, and we're willing to give them Somerville. Could benefit from time out, but for me, I would keep him just in case there is an injury to, God forbid, Rafinha or Harrison or James, because I think we do actually have more backup at right back in Stuart Dallas alone. Shaq, hopefully, if he ever is fit for a period of time, and the fact that we also play the back three, and it's not always a right back; it can be a right wing back. Adam Forshaw has played there. I think there's more backup in that position than there is on the wings. So if one of the two had to go, it would be Dramé for me. But Somerville, I'd keep and not let go out. But I don't expect that to be the same. I expect him to go out. I've given him a 6, absolutely fine off the bench. People are just sort of here or there around that number. What have you given him?
Yeah, same. I guess a 6 from me. I haven't been that impressed with the minutes that I've seen Somerville get this season so far. I think it's more him not being confident to take on his man like he does in the 23s. Because if you've watched any of 23s football with Somerville involved, you'll see him take on multiple people. I know there is a step up, but we haven't seen him attempting to make those takes on in the past. But in yesterday's game, he was running directly at people. He was making them back off him, and that is what I like to see from the lad. That's what I see him do and what I watched him do in the 23s. So that was positive signs from him. But if he was to go on loan again, we would need to replace him, because we just do not have the bodies to allow anyone to go out on loan without replacing them. And we'll have to see what happens. The rumours are that we are into a winger who can also play up front, giving us backup to a number of positions. So I'm hoping that does happen if Somerville does go out. But
I reckon they both leave on loan and we sign fucking nobody.
I can't see that Bielsa okay in that. Honestly, can't. I can't see Bielsa.
I can see he's not signing anyone though.
No, I can see us not signing anyone. That I wouldn't put it past us. But I couldn't see the combination of us not signing anyone and players who have made appearances. Both of them have started, I believe. Somerville hasn't started, but Dramé has. But yeah, I couldn't see us not replacing them if they were to go out.
Well, that was your player ratings. Probably slightly more positive than you may have expected it to be. I don't know. It wasn't the most positive, but fingers crossed. The gods are looking down on us and have decided that we should lose in the FA Cup and get a result in the league. We're going to be back, obviously, with plenty of content around that league game at the weekend. There will be plenty on the channel in the week coming up. Hopefully, Oscar will be back out of my cellar to do another opposition preview. If he's not, there will obviously be a big match preview to look forward to. Plenty of stuff from Scott, who seems to do nothing but record videos for us. Just a legend. And then obviously player ratings after the game, and obviously all the match day content. If you haven't, we may have watched a different game to you. Quite possibly. I wish I had. If you haven't already, as Oscar would say, if he was still in one piece, please smash a like on the video. And we're getting really close to that 30k. I know it's still quite some way away, but tell your friends. Get us all to that 30k, and Oscar will be released safely. And we may also give some other gifts. Not that Oscar's safety isn't enough. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for your time, the one and honourable Reverend Martin Riley from Statsville. Much appreciated to have you with us again.
Thank you, Reverend Phil. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you all for joining us. Great show for you too, Richard. You were fantastic, mate. Ooh,
a charity single.
Nice.